Welcome again to this fantastic series all about menopause. I'm your host, Jamie, the founder of a company called Reachit, a mental health provider. And today, my two fabulous guests are women's health and wellness coach Nicola Peaty and menopause coach Angela Wilkins Green. Thank you both for being here. So, we're going to get stuck in on this fabulous second episode, which is talking all about burnout related to the menopause, caused by menopause, or exacerbated by menopause. And so my first question, and this one is to you, Nicola, why is menopause burnout so prevalent?
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's think about it. It's just the perfect storm, isn't it? It's a woman who is at the peak of her life with several pressures and responsibilities at a time when our hormones, which are the essence of us in so many ways, start depleting. So we're pushing our body to the max on one hand. Meanwhile, we are slowly unraveling biologically, emotionally, physically, so many different reasons in different ways. And that leads to this tired and wired state that a lot of women experience.
We said in the last episode that this is going to happen to a lot of women who are at the absolute peak of their career. And so my next question is, from your perspective, what role does over-functioning or perfectionism play in this burnout cycle? Angela.
Yeah. For me, this is huge, and with the clients that I work with, I see it all the time. So, as we've said, this is hitting women when they are at their busiest, and as women, we don't like to fail at anything. And a lot of women will tell you how, if they don't still feel it, they have for a lot of their life felt this need for perfectionism and for just showing up and being the best we can be and never being seen as someone who will fail. We put such a huge amount of pressure on ourselves. So, of course, we get to our 40s and our 50s. And what are we doing now? As a new generation, really, because I think really we're at this place where we are under more pressure than any generation that's come before us. Because not only are we home keepers and raising a family, but we're now holding down really big careers in a lot of cases. We are looking after our aging parents. We are trying to have a social life. We really want it all. And in order for us to have it all, we have just gone, right, well, I can do this because that's what women do. I can do it. And our bodies are going, hang on a second. I wasn't developed to be doing all of this stuff. We're supposed to be sharing it. And in a lot of cases, women aren't sharing it because we expect us, and in a lot of cases, our partners still expect us to do a bulk of what happens around the home, as well as everything else we've now added on top of our list. Because we want it, we want it. We really want to be able to do all of this stuff. But the pressure that's now put on us and our need to be able to achieve it and do it and celebrate it, that for some women, for a lot of women, all becomes too much and something has to give. And if we don't recognize it and go, okay, I need to slow down a bit, where am I going to ease up on myself? We're leading right into burnout right there.
And burnout is kind of like a bomb going off, right? It just builds and it builds and it builds, and you deal with it. You just deal with it. Just get on with it. You find ways to overcome some of the stuff that you're experiencing, and then one day you just can't anymore. And I guess that's when that burnout point hits. I've heard plenty of stories. I guess Angela, you can probably relate to this because you had a career in corporate and you got to that point. And was that what it felt like? You kind of getting to that point where just everything became too much and that was it.
Absolutely. It was a slow build for me. It was 18 months of not knowing what was actually happening to me physically, I had no idea. As I've said before many times, I've never heard of the word perimenopause. Loads of women still now don't know the word perimenopause. And if they know the word, do you actually know what that means? So yeah, 18 months of this gradual going downhill. And for me, I had loads of other stuff to blame it on. So it happened exactly the time we went into COVID lockdown. I had a wedding that I was supposed to be having in May 2020, and it obviously got postponed 3 times. You know, having a wedding is stressful enough without having to postpone it through COVID. And I got diagnosed with endometriosis, and I was getting breast cysts, and I had all this other stuff, and I got made redundant. And so, of course, I was just blaming everything else. And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I started this new job, and I came home from my honeymoon, and everything should have been perfect, and bang, that was it. I cried every day for 3 months and totally lost myself. And so it was this great big bang moment of what the hell happened to me? I don't know who I am. And it was, I mean, even now I can feel the emotion in my chest just reliving it. It was the most horrendous time that I've ever been through.
Nicola, have you seen examples of this, of women at the top of their game, just not realizing that this was happening to them, and then just having to completely step away?
Yeah, yeah. And I think they step into the studio and they'll, you know, when you say, "Oh, you okay?" And you go, "Yeah, yeah." And you go, "No, are you really okay?" And then that is just the permission for them just to release it all. And, you know, and it's this outpouring that they've been suppressing and not facing. Um, But I will say, you know, and I've seen, you know, clients just a couple of months down the line where they just, everything is just different, that they've lightened every pressure off their shoulders simply because they've just vocalized it and they reached out and somebody instead of got you and I'm gonna be there every step of the way, and we're gonna work this through. And it is about taking that overwhelm and chunking it down to little baby steps to say, it's all right, I'm gonna walk you through this. And in every case that I've had that with a client, we've always got there. You know, it might not be a nice, beautiful trajectory line, but we get there because that's life, isn't it? And it's trial and error. But it's just reframing it for a lot of women. You know, we're not aware of it. And the other thing is, I just will say is that peri means around the time of. That's all it is. Perimenopause can last up to 10 years. And when the average age of menopause is 51, you've got the average age being 51, but that could also be 45. If you then take away 10 years for your perimenopause to start, that's 35. Women who are having babies around that time can go from postnatal to perimenopause. Now, that is one hormonal roller coaster. And a woman's had oh, just stop there and I'm fine. Now I'm going to start this. No. A lot of women, they just go from one to the other and it's just crazy. And then it's just no wonder, is there, that we are then, when those hormones are depleting and we're pushing and we're trying to run against our body, really, that we are going to lead to this place where our adrenals are fatigued completely and utterly because your ovaries have been producing those hormones. And now when that stops, it looks to your adrenals. But because your cortisol is all over the place, boom, you just can't do it. So your hormones are going, well, now where? Now where? It is that perfect storm. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the main reason this is so debilitating is that it is both a physical and mental thing, right? It's problematic in both areas, which makes it very, very hard to kind of piece together or make sense of. What I'd love to dive into just a little bit is some of the emotional red flags that a lot of women probably do ignore. And could you note a few of those?
Yeah, and the ones that come straight to mind are this feeling of numbness, or some describe it as I've just lost all of my joy. And then the anxiety that comes. And I think this loss of joy is the one that's really sort of resonating for me at the moment, because it's so, I hear so often. It's just this feeling of, well, I just don't feel anything. I used to get excited. I used to cry. I used to be happy. I used to have this flood of different emotions, and that felt good, whether it was crying or whether it was laughter. Now there's just nothing. I hear it all the time. It's like I've just flatlined and I can't get excited. And for women who have young children at home, to suddenly go, well, this should be the best time of my life. I should be loving having my time with my kids and going out and doing lovely things. But if you've got no energy and no get up and go to want to do anything, and even looking at your kids doesn't make your heart flutter like you expected it to, that is a real shock. And for some women, that might be some postnatal depression, but it could also be some perimenopause kicking in there. It is possible to have children while you're in perimenopause. So I feel like this plateau of emotions and this real loss of joy is a real underlying thing that women don't necessarily put two and two together and realize that it could be perimenopausal.
Yeah, Nicola, is there anything that you would add to that? Is there any other emotional red flags? I mean, that in itself for me is really scary, to kind of lose the feeling of life, I guess. Is there anything you'd add, Nicola?
I think that's the burnout stage. I think that's what we're talking about, isn't it? Is that's what you've kind of tipped over the edge. And I think if we just shift it back to seeing some earlier red flags, it's the waking
Yes.
up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's relying on coffee literally to get you through most of the day. It's real fatigue. It's like when a client has said to me, you know what, I just can't exercise, and it's not even a lack of motivation. It's real fatigue. It's a difference, isn't there, between, oh, I'm just knackered and I can't be bothered, to it just seems the worst possible thing you would ask me to do right now. And if that is the case, if those are the signs that you're feeling, that's when you need to just ease off. Just ease off and listen to your body. We've said it a few times now, is just listen. Be really super alert now and see those signs.
Got it. I mean, exhaustion is going to be the big thing, right? I've struggled with many stomach problems in the past, and the most crippling thing for me was fatigue and exhaustion. Because you can't, it's so hard to pull yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Is there anything women can do to overcome exhaustion?
I think for me, it comes back to the self-care piece again, because it really is about what does your body need. It's that listening to what it's telling you. There is no simple answer out there, because what you need is going to be very different to what I need or to what Nicola needs. So it's about understanding what's happening in your life and understanding where you can release a little bit and just let go a little bit. And if there are areas in your life where you can't, you need to be able to take that step back. Okay, well, what can I do slightly differently? It doesn't have to mean stopping. It just means, what can I shift a little bit? What can I change a little bit in my daily routine? Is that I'm actually just gonna stand while I boil the kettle for my cup of coffee in the morning and close my eyes and just focus on my breathing for a couple of minutes while I wait for the water. It might be something as simple as that just gives you that moment to breathe, to relax a little bit in the body, to release the shoulders a little bit. It's the subtle changes that will make a difference over time.
Nicola, anything that you'd add to that? Anything that
Yeah,
we could, any
I
little
was-
snippets?
Yeah, I think the way I explain it to clients, because I also do sports massage, it plays a big part in understanding that your nervous system is in overdrive. So we have the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. Yeah, we've got the rest and digest and fight and flight, and we've kind of literally told our body, be ready. We're in sympathetic fight and flight the whole time. We need to switch back. And the only way to switch back is to send messages to your whole nervous system that you're safe, that you're okay. And I kind of talk about the 3 Ps. It's about permission just to let go. It's okay. Push back where you can. You don't need to do it all. And just stop people pleasing. Just it's okay. You are now the priority.
100%. And I think that's a great way to end this episode on. Thank you both so much for joining me.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.